hello and welcome to this series of interviews ahead of NoVacancy London 2026, taking place in Excel London 25th, 26th of February. Today, I'm delighted to welcome one of our fantastic speakers at the event, the Digital Marketing Manager at The Usual, Anne Williams. How are you doing today, Anne?
Hi, Dan. Thank you so much for having me on your show here. I'm psyched. Yeah, as mentioned, I am Anne Williams. I'm the Digital Marketing Manager for The Usual. I'm a digital marketing and web strategist with over 15 years of experience in supporting purpose-driven organizations. I pride myself on establishing robust digital platforms and growth-focused marketing strategies that really create meaningful connections with guests.
Fantastic. And you're beaming all the way from the Netherlands today, I believe.
Yes, I am coming from the Netherlands. We have two locations, one in our flagship in Rotterdam and one in Brussels.
Fantastic. I was just saying, I've yet to visit. I'd love to make that one of my bucket lists or make it onto my bucket list in 2026. So, Anne, we're going to be talking about, given we're sitting here week or so, a couple of weeks before Christmas, we're going to be talking about the year that was 2025 and some of the biggest takeaways in search and digital discovery. It's definitely be a transformative year for digital discovery, especially with the rise of AI. It's everywhere. AI assistants, new search behaviors, and how people are planning trips, agentic AI, and so on and so forth. But you're the expert. So what have been your biggest takeaways from this year, Anne?
Oh man, 2025 has definitely been a wild ride. I feel like every time I woke up, it was like a new piece of news that in 2020 would have completely shook my strategies. But largely, we've watched social media traffic diversify really largely this year, but also just the normalization of so many different large language models, especially for travel planning, seems to have just dissolved my neat little funnels to pieces. We watched these top and mid funnels be completely absorbed by AI in some cases. Accenture is actually estimating that about 80% of people are using AI to plan their travel, which is a wild number. Yeah. Search is really no longer just those 10 blue links. They're no longer just keyword-driven search, but they've become really this intent-driven discovery. While at the same time, AI assistants are now actually planning the trip, so sometimes the people aren't there. They're not even searching. They're just delegating. For hoteliers, it's very easy to say like, oh, they're asking a concierge instead of scanning the notice board that we've been putting up in the lobby.
Sure.
And
I was going to ask you actually, if you were sitting here, well, when you were sitting here, January the 1st this year, so 12 months ago, could you have ever expected to be in this position?
Honestly, no. Let's be honest, like watching people adopt new technology is not always this quick. Yeah. And I think it's because of the conversational nature of the AI and the way in which it makes a lot of information, especially in a multilingual environment like travel, so accessible to people. The adoption rate has been quite insane.
Sure. And tell us about that. You know, you're obviously a digital marketing manager at The Usual. And actually tell us a bit about The Usual. You mentioned the two sites. How for you in your role, because there'll be other people listening to this that are in similar roles, right? How have you been able to keep up?
So the Usual is a European design-led 4-star brand that works specifically on connecting communities, inspiring conscious communities. And we have really worked to prioritize digital booking and direct booking and digital development. And we're proud to say the returns reflect this, actually. Like, I've been a strong advocate for fighting for direct bookings because we have a really excellent guest experience and we want everyone to experience that. And that's really helped us, is knowing that we have this strong core brand values that that create a very clear niche. We've really focused on internally aligning on not just telling people, the what. Maybe creating a website 5-10 years ago, there was what is everything about the hotel, and now it's really about the why. Why would someone search for my hotel? Why would someone book? Why would they want? Because it has to fit into that semantic intent model.
Sure. And so I guess these tools, from what you're saying, give hotels like yourself, others, the ability to drive more direct bookings and obviously take advantage of the benefits of that, personalization, never mind obviously getting to keep more of the customers' revenue, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, data is king. But also we can just guarantee that they have a true experience with the usual, with our broad tone of voice, with our welcome from the time that they're learning about us to the time that they get in the door. And that's invaluable.
Sure. Can you give us an idea of some of the tech and the AI channels that you're using at the usual?
Yeah, absolutely. So to start off, what we're doing is focusing on ourselves actually and making sure that we are able to be machine readable by AI or by large language models itself. This is the core of our brand, and they're not going to work for us. We need to make sure that we are accessible to them. And this can be things like reviewing the static files that they read on our website. So like the llm.txt or the robots.txt, these files that exist so that they can access our website, making sure that these are ready for them. It can also mean that the schematic orders on the website help identify the components of our pages so that they know immediately what is useful to them, what snippets can easily be repurposed into an AI summary. How do we gain that visibility, whether it's in the summary at the top of a search page or whether it's in some kind of conversational generative answer?
Sure. And is it ChatGPT and others that you're using specifically? Is there one tool that you've landed on that you find that you're using more than most?
I've definitely seen the most traffic come from ChatGPT, but I know that Gemini also has cost per impression ads right now, which we're currently trialing. It's certainly very interesting. Perplexity, whereas they're definitely coming for ChatGPT as well. I think that they've been put on hold as ChatGPT is being, I think ChatGPT 5 had some bugs that are being worked out, but I do think that 2026 will bring us ads in ChatGPT.
So I was going to ask you that. That's a good segue to looking forward, because we've just looked back. What do you see as the biggest changes coming for hotel digital marketing in the next 12 months?
Oh man, it's definitely this funnel broadening, this funnel that's changing and reshifting. Every channel is a new opportunity to convert guests into direct bookers with our content, with our purpose-driven messaging, with our offers, making sure that everything is really recent and relevant, up to date will be super important then, because there's so much changing and so many new platforms coming in and gathering this data. 2026 is going to bring a variety of new ad chat channels and formats. So we'll have TikTok is launching TikTok for travel ads, which will change what has really been an inspiration space into a conversion driving one. We have Microsoft ads really being lifted up in prominence with the adoption of Copilot. So that's quite big. Perplexity and those CPM ads that will then feature into prompt suggestions. And then of course the ads for ChatGPT. So this is a huge shift, right? That's why we're focusing on ourselves, because hotels that tell a clear story and that can then distribute that story in a concise and reliable and authoritative manner across these surfaces, those are the ones that will stand out. And I think that's really the chance for independent hotels to win on direct booking at this point in time.
Yeah, because you make a good point. It's about, you can now you've got more tools to own your own narrative and tell the story. What are the usual doing on TikTok, for example? Can you give us a sense of if there's much activity on that platform?
To be honest, TikTok is still a relatively new platform for us. It's something that we are sharing inspiration on, but of course you still want to be accessing trending audio. You want to just be kind of growing it as an exposure site. But I think TikTok for travel ads is really trying to position itself as something that can compete. This will be something that creates hotel-specific listings on a social media channel. So it could be quite exciting. We'll have to see how it works out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I guess that means that marketing teams need new skills, ever-evolving capabilities. How are you keeping up with the latest trends? Do you outsource some of it? Do you skill existing staff, upskill existing staff with trainers? What's the way that you keep up to date with all the latest platforms?
Well, it's definitely a challenge. I think it's a combination. When you're spreading yourself across this many channels, I think outsourcing is the only logical thing to do for at least a portion of it. It also teaming up with an agency to specifically work with ad formats that are maybe new to you or ad formats where you're really investing heavily is logical. While at the same time, I think just staying up to date with changes, whether you're finding news on LinkedIn whether you're hanging out on searchengineland.com, which is an excellent resource. I think that a lot of these things can also be learned just by keeping an ear to the ground.
Sure.
I haven't found a lot of reliable content or courses out there that share how to do this, but I have found a lot of information that is floating around on social media as everyone is trying their very best to stay on top of it. It is also something that's changing so rapidly, but that by the time you do some kind of upskilling courses, the chances are it's out of date.
So I guess it's testing it, right? Putting, trying different things, but also testing it not just in a vacuum, understanding what success looks like of that test. And then I guess possibly deploying more resources into something that you found that's worked, because you can't do everything. You don't have unlimited resource or budgets.
You can't do everything. And of course, the metrics that you're using to measure your success are changing at the same time. So, you're running towards goalposts, but the goalposts are changing shape. But so, if we've been living on clicks, where are our clicks? That's something that doesn't work anymore, because maybe someone isn't clicking you, but you're the one who is winning the AI summary race. Sure. And being placed in the AI summary is infinitely more valuable. The people who are exposed to you as the only answer will certainly indicate that those people are far more qualified leads.
Yeah.
So we're finding new ways of measuring, whether it's just AI visibility. It's more of like a probabilistic type of SEO.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was going to ask, the way that you evaluate performance obviously has to change with all these different tools. You just referenced one or two there, but let's explore that a bit further. The new sort of metric signals that even like 2 or 3 years ago, you weren't having to measure. Can you just give us maybe an example of one or two that people listening might not have heard of or they should investigate?
I think the first thing that people should do is look at their Google Analytics and the way that they've set up their structure there. They should create filters so that they can look for additional domains, because usually these domains for LLMs don't appear on your chart immediately, but start monitoring that traffic there. And you can also do this in the Explore section, where you can create specific segments. And just understanding where people are coming from and where that visibility is absolutely the first step to success.
Sure. And if, again, we've got, let's say, a small hotel, they've only got time or budget to focus on one thing over the next, say, 6 months. What advice would you give them? What do you think they should focus on specifically? I know it's a tough question.
No, for sure. I would to stick to my guns here. I think I would say invest in yourselves. Direct booking is more possible now than ever, but it is about having a really concrete value proposition, knowing who you are, knowing why people choose you. Audit for these basics, whether it's cleaning up your website, making sure that everything is aligned across that, the OTAs, your Google My Business profile, make sure that everything is clean and that the sources are there for LLMs to access so that you will be lifted up, and then build for visibility on top of that solid base. Now is the time to review these digital spaces, focus on clarity, personality, and consistency, align your answers and to why people would choose you, and then really clearly provide those answers to guests, whether it's in an FAQ, which is kind of a more traditional AEO approach, or whether it's just making sure that it's in your headlines, which are a lot easier for them to read. And make sure all images and videos are recent. By investing in yourself, you create a springboard that they can really work with.
Fantastic, thank you. And it's very interesting. Obviously, you've just given us a sort of brief insight into some of the work that the usual are doing. I'm sure there's a lot more, but we want to save it because obviously you're speaking at NoVacancy in February, and the title of your talk is "The End of SEO as We Know It: What's Next for Digital Discovery." Not to give all of it away, but give us a flavour of a couple of bits that you're going to be talking on, takeaways that people can. If they attend, can take away from it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of the things that we've talked today are things that I would like to expand on. Honestly, I think they will have evolved a little bit by the time I get to talk to you at the end of February. True, yeah. So I'm not even sure if any of this will be true by then, but it's working for me now. But we're going to talk about what's changing with search, specifically AI-driven search, the rules of discoverability, and how we can make it or break it in 2026. How we can show up in assistant-driven trip planning, as well as practical suggestions for structuring your content, for creating local authority, for brand storytelling, and an idea of maybe some KPIs that we might be able to use to measure that success. I do not like attending talks where I do not walk away with something useful.
Yeah.
So my intention is to make sure that people leave with a roadmap, with an idea of where they're going, with a snack for the ride. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Fantastic. And give us, obviously you're coming down. One of your colleagues is speaking at the event as well. Why is it important for yourself, your colleague, the usual, to be part of these sorts of events, do you think?
As I've mentioned, like the usual has this real possibility of making a difference in hospitality. And that's one of the reasons I so enjoy working for them. And this difference is best experienced by direct bookers. Guests choose us based on our purpose, our award-winning sustainable design. But these are the guests that are most likely to return, to recommend us to their loved ones. And I feel like this is just a super exciting time to be developing and designing the connections between our brand and these fans. This shift in digital discovery is huge. It's very overwhelming to a lot of people, but I don't think it has to be. I think when we understand how to show up in the ecosystems that are existing, it becomes really exciting. I find it exciting, and I want to be a part of helping other hotels get there so that we can really reclaim direct bookings and enjoy doing this, making these connections.
Fantastic. And we look forward to seeing you in, I think time of this recording is about 8 weeks' time, believe it or not. We wish you a great festive season. We thank you for your time today, and we look forward to listening to your talk, which is in the marketing track in the afternoon of day one of No Vacancy on 25th of February. And it's the end of SEO as we know it. What's next for digital discovery? So Anne Williams, Digital Marketing Manager of The Usual, thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much, Dan.